It was a great set. I think it was because the script was so good that everybody there wanted to be there. You know, it was a very low budget on the film, but everybody was very excited. Everybody knew it was going to be great. You know. That was the only question. All right, thank you guys for coming. Yes.
So in the movie, they ask you your opinion about whether or not God stops bullets, and your character says he doesn't have an opinion. Do you have an opinion on that?
Well, since I'm not in the aftermath of massive trauma, watching four of my friends just, wait, 1, 2, 3 of my friends be murdered. I mean, think about it. How could you, why would you have an opinion about whatever they're bantering?
Yeah, right.
Like, I'm still shaking.
But what is your personal opinion on the scene, though?
No, he missed. I do not believe God came down from heaven and stopped the bullets. But thank you for asking my deep philosophical opinion on fictional events. As Americans, we need to really think more about these things. Because otherwise, how are we going to solve our fictional problems? Yes.
How did you start getting into the acting, the voiceover business?
I started doing plays in junior high. Like a lot of people. There was a play of a book that I really loved, and I went and auditioned for it. And I had a fantastic time being on stage. It was transformative, and basically couldn't. Nothing else has been as enjoyable. So as soon as something else comes along, a job I enjoy more, I'll start doing that.
So I'd like to hear if you have any stories about two things. Number one, Artie Lang, and number two, Pulp Fiction.
Artie Lang was on MADtv with me for the first 2 seasons. I actually didn't hang out with Artie that much. He lived with Orlando, and he and Nicole hung out a lot, and Dave Herman. So I actually learned a lot of what went on with Artie during MADtv from his book, you know, decades later. But there was one sketch I remember really well. Artie was brilliant. Artie is brilliant. He's a very, very smart man who I think was raised in a culture where that was not valued, so he hides it. He's got basically a photographic memory. He could look at a script and know it immediately. There was one sketch where he was coming off of a really bad day. And we were shooting this thing live, and it was a sketch called, ironically, Drunk President. But he was not the drunk president. He was the CIA agent explaining to the drunk president that he has just saved America on a 4-year bender. And the sketch was Artie Lang with pages of dialogue, while Dave Herman just going, what? And he was flawless. He was completely coked out of his mind, but you cannot tell. If you find that sketch somewhere on the internet, you'll see it. How does a drug addict perform at this level? I guess that's why he's still alive.
And Pulp Fiction?
There are only 2 things I know of in the script that are not in the final movie, that were changed. I mean, there were a couple of things that were cut for time or whatever, but the only things that were changed were the name of the pig that Sam Jackson references in the diner scene, because they're having a discussion about whether dogs and pigs are filthy animals.
Right.
And they say, well, but a dog's got personality. It's like, well, by that rationale, if a pig had a better personality, it would cease to be a filthy animal. And the original line was, yeah, well, you have to be, you know, the Cary Grant of pigs. And Sam Jackson decided that his character, Jules, wouldn't think Cary Grant was all that cool.
Nah.
So they changed it to, you'd have to be 10 times more charming than that Arnold on Green Acres. And I was just like, all right, I can see that. I can see that Jules you know, grew up watching Petticoat Junction more than he watched Cary Grant movies. And the other thing that changed was my character, Marvin, gets shot in the back of the car. As scripted, he's supposed to get shot twice. Once in the throat, that doesn't kill him. And then they argue back and forth about what to do, and then finally they decide to put Marvin out of his misery, and they say, all right, on 3, I'm gonna hit the horn, you take him out. And that's what happens, and then the blood splatters everywhere from the headshot, and then the movie goes on as you know it. But when I came in for rehearsal, and I met Sam Jackson and John Travolta, like the first thing John Travolta said to me was like, oh man, am I gonna kill him? The audience is gonna hate me. And I think they had a discussion about it. It's like, it's one thing to shoot him by accident, or bump, or whatever, but if he actually, it was weird, because I think it came from being a star. You know, he had this just keen sense of how the audience responds to him. And he said, if I kill this kid on purpose, the audience is going to hate my character. And it's going to ruin the other scenes in the movie. And I think Quentin agreed with him, and they changed that. And it's interesting, because you wonder, had that one thing been changed, would the whole Uma Thurman sequence suddenly, would you have enjoyed it less? You know? Yes, Carl.
So, any stories or thoughts about the Mr. T? For the Mr. T.
The main thing I remember, it was my very first professional job. The main thing I remember about the Mr. T cartoon is that we were all very poorly directed. We were
It shows.
Yeah, no, the show's off. We were told to end every line up, because that gives it energy. Like,
Oh my God.
what do you mean? No, you've got to end it up. So everything we say has to end up? No, everything you say has to end up. I'm sorry, your dog died. There you go. And I'm lucky. It's the reason I think that most child actors don't go on to careers, because people don't direct children the way they direct actors. They direct children the way they direct animals. Get it to make the face. And they'll just poke and prod you, and so you don't learn to act. I remember right after college I came home and did a community theater play that was literally the worst thing I've ever read. And the director was awful. I mean, I think he was only the director because he had done plays in the Navy. And it was like some awful family comedy, and there was a 16-year-old girl playing the daughter. And I watched him direct her, and I was just watching their interaction, like, he's ruining her. She'll never, ever be able to act. Because he would literally tell her, he's like, no, sweetie, you've got to emphasize yourself more. It's like, Daddy, you never listen to me. And she's 16, she doesn't know that this guy is wrong. She says, oh, Daddy, you never listen to me. That's it. I'm like, oh my God, she's broken. And I was in a dog suit. What was I gonna do?
Thank you for watching. We hope you enjoyed the video. Twin Opinion cares about your opinion, and your participation keeps us alive. So share your comments, hit that like button, and subscribe to the channel. You can also find Twin Opinion on Facebook or visit our website at asamiarrow.com.